continue. So how then do we return home to the feminine? I mean, we've spoken about why we get into the masculine. We know why we appreciate it, we benefit from that. But we also know that it's harmful to stay there for a while. So how do we get back home? How do we claim and reclaim our feminine space? So the first thing I advise my clients is whenever I have someone on a one-on-one is I give them a homework to check or I give them a homework to evaluate their lives and to see just how much of the masculine energy do they embody and how much of their being in the world is masculine, the way they talk, the way they interact with people, their children, their partners, their friends, and obviously at work, and figure out and give me just a thumbsuck figure, according to you how much of the masculine do you live by? And I know for a fact that no one is lower than 80%. Very, very few are operating at less than 80% masculinity. So we are in our masculine. So once you have that figure in your head that actually I am 100% in my masculine all the time, or I'm 90% or whatever, that awareness is actually in and of itself a feminine thing. It actually invokes and awakens the feminine, because then you have created something, a separation that, oh, I'm skew, I'm operating mainly here. It's like pumping one arm and, this one is nicely toned and the other one is not. So you want to now exercise this one. In fact, the left, I don't know how your screen sees me, but the left is your feminine and the right is your masculine side. Problems on your left-hand side or problems on your right-hand side are actually problems on the energies. Again, I told you these things go very, very deep. So once you're aware, then you need to start creating a ritual or a rhythm of consciously getting into the feminine. Remember, the feminine, you go there consciously. You bow to the feminine. It requires surrender, and surrender requires consciousness. So one thing you could do, and with time, you'll find your own ways and you'll create your own rituals. But one thing, the most easy one to do, because a lot of women who are in their masculine are working professional women. I always say that when you get home, the moment your car comes in and it parks, you have to take off and you get into your house, because the home space is the feminine space, right? The home space is feminine. The walls could be masculine, but inside the house it's feminine. The moment you step into the house with your awareness, you can even say it out loud if you want and say, I am home now. I am in my feminine. And take everything off that reminds you of the masculine. Take it off. Take off your suit, take off your high heels, take off everything that reminds you of the feminine and create some space. Maybe you could be in your bedroom for a few minutes, for like maybe say 15 minutes. You tell your children or your husband or whoever that's demanding of you that, can I just have 15 minutes on my own? You take off those clothes slowly. You step into a shower to wash the day away. Water is very feminine and water is very cleansing. So it washes almost that suit, that masculine suit away. So that's the ritual number one. And then, when you get out of that room, then you can talk to your children calmly, nicely. You can ask your partner about his day. You can be nice to Aus Maria. You will feel it. You'll think Raloya. You will think Raloya, seriously, because not only will you feel the shift, feel the feminine rising, your partner is going to love you for it. Your husband is going to feel it. Your boyfriend, your living boyfriend is going to feel it. Your children will feel it. Aus Maria, Aus Sophie will feel it, because it's an energy that is like, oh, I've just been given space. I've been recognized. It's like we are now flexing and exercising that feminine muscle. Okay, so that's one. Number two, you want to get in touch with everything that is feminine embodying. So you want to get into nature as much as you can. On weekends, instead of chilling back and watching Netflix and going through Showmax and going through social media, that is not being feminine. And that is not resting, by the way. That is something else. That is an addiction. That is another, when we don't embody ourselves fully, other forces embody us. Addiction is a force. Addiction is a spirit. Sitting and scrolling Netflix and binging Netflix, scrolling social media, or sleeping all day, that's not necessarily rest. That's burnout. That is deep, deep exhaustion, which we spoke about. Being in the masculine depletes you so much that, outside always saying you actually go like this, you sleep all weekend. And I have a client who she no longer does this now, but she would get into the house on a Friday and get out of the house on a Monday to go to work. That is not resting. And she was still not rested. That is part of why she came to see me. And resting or getting into the feminine, yes, rest is a big part of it, but getting into a feminine is very, very rejuvenating. If you sleep all weekend when I'm thinking you are resting, I'm in my feminine, I'm resting, and you're still tired and you're still irritable and you're still annoying everybody and you're still rubbing people the wrong way, you are not softening, you are not resting, it's something else altogether. Okay, so get in touch with things that are nature, because nature is feminine. Watch the moon, track the moon for fun's sake. Do gardening. Gardening is a very, very feminizing act. If you can and you live in an apartment or a place that can allow this, have a cat, have a pet, have something else outside your children and outside your work and outside you, an interrelational, an interspecies relationship, especially with cats. Why do you think women have cats? I have four. And I'll give you a video of me and my cats, the lessons I've learned. And why women love cats or why women have cats is because cats represent the feminine in the domestic homes, in the domestic pet world. Dogs are our protectors. Dogs protect the physical. That's why dogs are beware of the dog at the gate. That's why dogs will protect their owner with their lives. They protect their masculine. That's what the masculine does. The cat, you'll never have a cat stand guard. The cat protects the home. It protects the spirit. It guards against nasty forces, nasty spirits, ghosts, baloi, and all. It really does that. And I will create a video around cats and why is it that it's mostly women who own cats and why cats are guardians of the feminine and guardians of the women specifically. So you don't have to get a cat. I'm kidding. I'm just, I was just expanding the lesson. It would be great though, but you don't have to, you know what I mean? But you have to you have to be involved with something that is of the feminine. Go to the river from time to time, hike from time to time, go to a mountain, do some gardening is incredible. Have some plants, some living plants in your home, have flowers in your home, have things that always remind you to soften, to soften, to soften. Like I say, guys, I mean, this is surface and it's just for YouTube. For more of these rituals, for more of these things, Patreon is your friend. Come join my community, or you can book a session with me and we can, get into those, particularly if you find yourself struggling to get into the feminine, right? The third thing that will help you get into the feminine, and this one might sound a bit controversial because, apparently as women, we hate each other. You want to get into a strong sisterhood. You want to have women around you, strong sisterhood, not on WhatsApp, not on Zoom, fella, where you physically gather. To gather is a woman thing because whenever women gather, a deep, deep healing happens. It happens because you'd have heard someone's story. You'd have shared your story. You'd have laughed from the belly up. You'd have been in each other's energies, to be estrogen galore. And estrogen galore is healing by its very nature. It brings youth as well, so find a sisterhood. It could be a book club. I think this is why women, vele from Khalile Khal, including our mothers, used to love together. It's not just nje or women ing. It's a deep, deep, it's an ancient need for the feminine to come together and celebrate and ceremony and gather together for something. So in modern times, we could go back to book clubs. You could create a book club for sisterhood. You could create a hiking club, where every last Sunday or last Saturday of the month, you go for a walk or, you go hiking, you go to the river. You could create a baking club, a cooking club, a gardening club, anything that you guys come together, a coaching, a healing. That's why women love to gather in churches. That's why women love the dog fair. That's why women love kitchen parties and all that. Cultivate a sisterhood. That helps you take off that masculine suit and remind you that you are a woman and you are feminine. And when you feminize together, they reinforce the femininity in you, not to mention the healing. Gathering of women is healing. I say this with authority because I've gathered with women, I don't know for how long, for years and years, where I create events where women and I gather, as you can see somewhere in the video. Okay. The fourth thing, let me just quickly look at my notes. The fourth thing, and this is a very, very hard one. I mean, this is the one that most of us struggle with, especially us who've been hustling for a long time, who have embodied masculine for a long time. It is let go of control, letting go of how things should actually turn out, because that is very masculine. And it's not even just masculine, it is wounded masculine. The need to control, the need to have things your way, the need to want what you want, how you want it, the need to understand how the day starts and it will end. Maybe that helps when in corporate, at work, Copas John, but in your home, with your children, with your partner, with your spouse, not so much. So, one of the days, just let go. Just sit back and allow things to unfold as they unfold. Just be wild, be the wild feminine. Be like the Amazon jungle. It is wild, it is not controlling anything, but it is perfect. That's feminine. So one of the days, have a day where you don't schedule anything. Like you wake up and you just follow your heart. You follow your rhythm. You don't perfect anything. You just follow what needs to happen. Whatever must happen will happen. The other thing is, that will bring you into your feminine is to be creative, is to get into the creative space. I mean, creativity could be cooking. You could be baking if you're into baking. I am a cook, but you're baking. The only thing I bake is bread. But Tsetse didn't say, why baking for me is just like, eh. It's because it's got these steps. Baking is not intuitive like cooking where you can fix a mess. Baking, if they said put 3 eggs, well, now I can lay one, the thing won't come out proper. So that whole scientific aspect of baking, it just throws me. But get into creativity because femininity by its very nature is very creative, you know. When if masculinity is very life forcey, giving sun rays, giving sperm, giving seeds, life giving, femininity is life creating. It creates. So drawer, if you are good at that. Sometimes you can even start as simply with a coloring book. Remember those coloring books? I don't know if they still, I'm sure they still sell them. Just start with a beautiful coloring book. Go buy yourself crayons for CNA and markers and just start doing that. And then start scrapbooking. Do you remember scrapbooking? Just do something that is creative. That steps you into your feminine. And once you're in your feminine, you get into your intuition. When you're into your intuition, you tap into your wisdom. When you're into your wisdom, amazing solutions to problems that you didn't know how to solve come about, and you soften. And you soften into the feminine, and you start slowly to balance them. And the feminine energy starts to trust you, and it emerges even during Bus John's work time. You start to feel it coming up appropriately, not out of stress, so we'll go officing and all that. And nothing wrong with crying, by the way. It's a big part of the feminine. We'll talk about it some other time. It's like this topic will never end. My God, why did I start it? And just to wrap up, just to conclude, guys, there is absolutely nothing wrong with being in your masculine. We have already figured that out, right? But there is everything wrong with remaining in your masculine. That's why we have so much illnesses, so much imbalances, because we don't return home. We do not return home, even for men, I will do a video on why men need to tap into their feminine, because I think it deserves a video on its own. I will do it sometime in the near future. And how should a man also step into his feminine, because then, he also needs to balance that masculine. The masculine might be home for him, but a lot of his masculine is wounded right now. And guess who's the healer? Who's the healer? It's the feminine. It's the feminine energy within him that is the healer. The feminine energy within him is the one that makes him seek a coach to say, you know what, I've been watching Auslebo for a while. I need to have a one-on-one. It is the feminine that does that, not the masculine. The masculine is the leader. It's the boss. Needs no healing. Doesn't know it needs healing. The feminine aspect of you is the one that helps you soften as well. And there's a way that you tap into it as much woman. So we'll do a video on that. This was a trio, back to back. My goodness, geez. I hope it was helpful. I will pack the topic for a while. I will return. I'll take a break as well for a while. I've been producing these videos, I've been bringing them. I will come back sometime in September. Not too late, because I don't want the momentum to die out. But look out for me, maybe second week of September with a new teaching. Or maybe with more of this, who knows? Oh, guys, this is my story. This is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours. Until next video.